What is going on, everybody? Welcome to my first mock draft of the year. I'm going to be doing a mock draft with no trades, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I will talk about each team, what I think their biggest needs are, and then some potential players that I think they should go after, and then what I think they'll do. So with the number one pick, we've got the Houston Texans. Main need is everything. That's just plain and simple. I believe they go Bryce Young. Personally, for me, and most people disagree, I like CJ Stroud a little bit better. More size. The Ohio State quarterbacks don't get a good rap, but I truly think that CJ Stroud is better. That is my opinion. I'll die on that sword. I think Bryce Young is good, but I personally like CJ Stroud, but I do think the Texans go Bryce Young. And with the Chicago Bears, I would say defense is a main need for them. Obviously, they need to get playmakers for Justin Fields. I don't think they do that. I think if they do that through a trade, but I don't think it would be drafting a guy. I think he gets a veteran receiver, if anything. For me, I think the biggest needs for this team is pass rush. I think you win and lose by edge rush and quarterback play, and that's prevalent. Those are the two, I think, most important pieces on a team. I think Will Anderson Jr. makes sense here. So Will Anderson Jr. will be going to the Chicago Bears. And the Seahawks are up on the clock. I do think they could benefit from drafting a QB, letting him sit for a year, if they do indeed keep Geno Smith. But I don't think they do that. I think they are lacking pass rush. They got Boye Mafe last year. He's kind of a project. Has done okay this year. And we can actually look at his stats. Boye Mafe stats. So let's look at Boye Mafe, how he's done this season. So he's 36 tackles and 2 sacks. So really not a whole lot of production yet, but I think he will end up being really good for them. But with that being said, I think they lack edge, and I think they lack interior. I think Brian Bresee is probably a good pick for them. Jalen Carter is one of my favorite tackles in this draft and prospects. But I think Myles Murphy makes sense. Myles Murphy, we'll look at his stats real quick. Myles Murphy for Clemson, been a good player for them. A great edge rusher. We'll see. 40 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. He did not play in the bowl game. Do I blame him? No. But, he's produced a lot of stats over here just in these first couple of games that we've seen. So, Myles Murphy going to the Seattle Seahawks. And then we got the Lions. To tell you the truth, that the Lions are an interesting one. They don't look bad. To be honest with you, I think they look decent. I don't think Jared Goff is necessarily the long-term answer for them, but he really has picked it up lately. They've got good weapons. I think they could always improve edge rush. I think they could improve interior rush. Getting Aiden Hutchinson, he's been really good for them. Their O-line has been pretty good. I wouldn't put it out of the picture that they don't go offensive line, but I'm going to go with the mantra of Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell loves scrappy players. He said it, bite kneecaps off. I think Jalen Carter out of Georgia is that guy. He is an interior presence, and we can go look at the guy. Jalen Carter, he's one of my favorite prospects. Just being honest. He did play last night. He is on a snap count. He doesn't play a whole lot just based off of his size. He's 6'3", 300 pounds. He's a pretty big dude. He's a pretty big dude. And then look at that. He only had a tackle last night. But 2022 overall, 14 solo tackles, 16 assists, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 pass deflections. Or passes defended, sorry. Same thing. I think he would mesh perfect with that grittiness that they're looking for. So I'm going to go Jalen Carter. I wouldn't put it out of the realm that they maybe go somewhere else, but I like the fit for them here. We got the Arizona Cardinals. They are going to be losing J.J. Watt. Honestly, I think their defense is just kind of lackluster right now. I don't think they get any really pressure at all. And I could be wrong about that. I really haven't looked into it. But the glaring need to me is just their defense. I think they've got great offensive players. Kyler Murray's got to take a step next year. But, man, I really like Nolan Smith here. I also wouldn't put it out of the realm they go corner because Byron Murphy is going to be a free agent. I think Brian Breesy would look good there, so I'm going to go with him. An interior presence, I mean, they could probably sign some edge rushers, move some guys around, but to shore up that inside stuff, I think that's going to be their biggest proponent. And then we move on to the Indianapolis Colts. To tell you the truth, the Indianapolis Colts, I'm not so sure they're going to be that great next year. If they can clean up QB play, I think they'll be a lot better. Would they go Will Levis? I don't know. I think that's a possibility. Peter Skoronski would be also another pick that I think they could do. It would shore up their left tackle need. I would love CJ Stroud here, but I just don't know if they go that way. I could definitely see them getting Derek Carr. So I'm going to steer away from QB here. I just feel like they're not going to pick a QB. I'm going to go Peter Skoronski, shore up that O-line. That's kind of their identity, is a strong O-line. So we're going to keep that theme with these guys. We've got the Atlanta Falcons here. I think they rock with Desmond Ridder next year. Whether y'all like that or not, I think that's just what's going to happen. Honestly, wouldn't put it out of the realm that they get a receiver. Edge rush is definitely a need for them as well. They got Arnold Ebiketie. I don't think he's done too much this year. Quentin Johnson is just too much like Drake London, in my opinion, for them to pair up those two guys together. I think Jordan Addison could be a move here, but honestly, I think corner makes a ton of sense here to mesh up with A.J. Terrell. I'm going to go Cam Smith out of South Carolina. We'll go ahead and look at Cam Smith's stats for this season. So, Cam Smith, 27 tackles on the year, 1 interception. Still, though, great corner. I mean, look at the size, 6 foot, 188. I mean, why not take the guy? I mean, he's been pretty good throughout his career. I mean, look at last season. Like, if you base it off last season, this dude is phenomenal. Took a little bit of a step back here, but the South Carolina defense just wasn't crazy, in my opinion. So, we'll go Cam Smith here. I think this one's kind of a tough one. To be honest with you, I think this is a kind of easy pick. I think the Carolina Panthers, given the chance, they would go Will Levis or C.J. Stroud. Personally, I could see C.J. Stroud in a Carolina Panthers uniform, but I think they go Will Levis. I think there might be connection there. I don't know that for sure, but Will Levis to the Panthers just seems like something that would happen. And then Philadelphia picking at 9 is absolutely insane. I think this is also another easy one. They've got edge rush figured out. Their defensive line's really good. Linebacker core, it's all right. It's pretty good. Receiver is just not a need for them. Could they go Michael Mayer? I don't think so, just because they have Goddard, and he's going to be their long-term guy. I think they're going to go corner, and I think Kelee Ringo, watching him last night against Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Peach Bowl, I think he makes sense. I think he'd fit that defense well. Play with Darius Slay. James Bradbury is going to be gone. This is just a no-brainer for me. And this one's simple. The writing's on the wall. Derek Carr's gone. Jarrett Stidham is there. He's just not as dynamic. I love Jarrett Stidham, but I think they go C.J. Stroud. I could totally see him in a Raiders uniform. He's one of my favorite prospects, and we'll go C.J. Stroud here. Now here's Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville, really, they should shore up the O-line. They could also maybe get some more edge. I think Nolan Smith would be a good pick. Pair him with his old teammate. Tyree Walker or Wilson is another good one. Defensive back, I mean, sure, but Paris Johnson, he just didn't have a good game last night. But I think you've got to invest in the O-line, so I am going to go Paris Johnson or Broderick Jones. And I think Paris Johnson, just based off the sheer size of the guy, I'm going to go with him. Here with the Houston Texans, we did take Bryce Young first. I think Quentin Johnston probably comes off the board here, or Jordan Addison. Get that guy, get Bryce Young a playmaker. Brandon Cooks probably out the door. Realistically, if they could keep Brandon Cooks, man, you want Nolan Smith here or Tyree Wilson, because they just don't have any like front seven guys that are just super great. But I just don't know if they would go two offense. I'm gonna go Nolan Smith. I think Quentin Johnston's in play there. As for the Steelers, man, why would you not pair Jordan Addison with Kenny Pickett? Pair the old college teammates together. They probably wouldn't do that. Realistically, their O-line sucks. I'm going to go Broderick Jones just because their O-line is so bad. But I do think that there's a lot in play for them. They could really upgrade at a lot of places. And we've got Green Bay here. With Green Bay, I mean, their cornerback play has been terrible this year. Michael Mayer here would be good. I just don't think they utilize tight ends as much. I take that back. Oh, this is kind of a tougher one. I like Quentin Johnston. But I think cornerback is more of a need for them. I'm going to go Brian Branch out of Alabama. And then Seahawks are back up on the board. So we went defense for them already. I do like Jordan Addison here. I like him here because he's not the same type of receiver as DK, whereas Quentin Johnston kind of emulates DK in a sense of the size. So Jordan Addison here, slot guy, I think would be great. And then we've got my Patriots. Looking here, there's a lot in play, to be honest with you. I think Damian Harris is out the door. I wouldn't put it out of the realm for Bill Belichick to pick a halfback early. I've seen a lot of mocks where Jackson Smith-Njigba goes there, and I think that's a great idea. I think that's something that could happen. I also wouldn't put it out of the realm that we pick a D3 guy. But for the sake of keeping everything consistent, I'm going to go Jackson Smith-Njigba to the Patriots. And the Jets, man, I don't know what they're going to do at QB. Zach Wilson, they say they're going to give him another chance. We'll see. I honestly would love Michael Mayer here. Quentin Johnston, I just don't think they go receiver here. I think linebacker is a big need, and I think O-line could also be something that they should address. I love B.J. Ojulari. I feel like it's a little too early for him. I think the defensive back group here is really good. I think their defensive line is also extremely good. Michael Mayer would be a great pick here. But I'm gonna go linebacker and Trenton Simpson, and we'll look at his stats. We'll dive in this together. Let's look at Trenton Simpson. Good player for Clemson. 6'3", 240, 73 tackles on the year, 2.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Very consistent these last 2 years. Looks like he played as a sophomore maybe. So this guy, I mean, he looks good. I think that's what they're missing. I don't know. Where's C.J. Mosley? Is he on their team still? He is. Okay. So pairing him with C.J. Mosley, I really like that pairing. So Trenton Simpson going to the New York Jets. And I'm going to go Michael Mayer. I'm going to replace T.J. Hawkinson for this team. I think it makes sense. I think Michael Mayer is a really good player. So we're going to Michael Mayer here. And the Buccaneers are on the clock. Man, this is an interesting one depending on what Brady does. I don't think Brady's back next year. And I think Tanner McKee might be a guy that they could pick. I also think Anthony Richardson is here. But I'm going to go Tanner McKee. It just feels like that's something that would happen. And then we're here with Tennessee. Kind of lackluster this year. I think O-line is a need. I personally want to replace Taylor Lewan. I just don't see him being there next year. So let's look at tackles overall. I do really like Anton Harrison. So I'm going to go Anton Harrison. And then Commanders are on the block. To me, Anthony Richardson just doesn't seem like a Commander. I think they don't go QB here. Personally, I think cornerback is a need. I think they could use some edge rush, maybe a little bit more. O-line obviously still needs a lot of help. This is kind of a tougher one for me just because I don't know where they would go. I don't think Quentin Johnston he just doesn't make sense here. I say we go corner and Jalen Jones, and we'll check him out as well. Texas A&M Aggie, Jalen Jones. So 6'2", 205, and very consistent. He has not regressed. He's gotten better, technically. Well, maybe not. About the same, but we're going to take him here. I mean, he just looks like he makes sense. Chargers. Chargers are an interesting one. They've been plagued with injuries this year. I mean, honestly, sure up that O-line. Like, that makes the most sense to me. I think this makes sense. O'Cyrus Torrence. Let's look at him. I like O'Cyrus Torrence a lot. I really do. Let's look at his stats. Let's see if we can't pull up ESPN. I was going to try and pull up ESPN. 6'5", 332. This dude is a monster. I've watched some film on him. I like him. I like him a lot. Obviously, no stats. But 6'5", 347. Transferred from Louisiana, looks like. And how old is he? Does it say? Does not say. But I just feel like with Rashawn Slater plugging in this guy, and then who is their guard they got this year? I really liked him. Was he from A&M? He might have been from A&M. Zion Johnson. Where is he from? Is it Boston College? Yeah, Boston College. Zion Johnson. Why not double up on the O-line? I don't hate that. I really like that for them. I just don't see anything else that they should do here, you know? Like, I feel like their team is pretty good overall. So, yeah, I think we go O'Cyrus Torrence here. Giants are on the block. I mean, Anthony Richardson here makes sense. I don't think they keep Daniel Jones, and I think Daboll has done a great job in using Daniel Jones' leg. And they are comparing Anthony Richardson's potential to Josh Allen. I'm just saying what I'm hearing. I think this makes sense. I'm going to go with this. And then the Ravens are up. Quentin Johnston being here is probably unrealistic, so I'm going to go with him here. I do also like the potential of Bijan because J.K. Dobbins. Running looks a little difficult for him right now. Granted, he is hurt, but we'll see. Denver Broncos, man, they need a lot. Edge makes sense. I personally love B.J. Ojolari, but we're going to go with Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. And we'll go ahead, look into him. 6'6", 275. I mean, this dude is huge. I did watch the bowl game against Ole Miss. He honestly looked really good. 61 total tackles on the year, 7 sacks. I mean, this guy's a baller. So we're going to give him to the Denver Broncos. And then the Cowboys are here. I'm going to go with an Arkansas boy. Drew Sanders, transfer from Alabama, had a great season here at Arkansas. Jerry Jones, former Arkansas alumni, loves his Arkansas boys. I think Drew Sanders here makes sense. Shore up that linebacker core. Let Michael Parsons full-time edge rush. And then we got the Bengals up on the clock. The Bengals are an interesting one. I think they could probably use some corner help. Personally, I like Joey Porter Jr. better than Christian Gonzalez, so I am going to go with Joey Porter Jr. here. And then the Chiefs are on the clock. I mean, that team, it's so good. Like, that team is really good. I mean, the only thing that I could think is just getting more edge rush. Jared Verse here makes sense. And then the Minnesota Vikings are here. Again, I feel like drafting a replacement for Harrison Smith makes sense. So we're going to go with Antonio Johnson. I know they got Lewis Cine, but Anthony Harris isn't there anymore, and I think Antonio Johnson just would be perfect there. Then we got the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, they're, to me, a complete team. I think they could just shore up their O-line a little bit more. That never hurts. Obviously, you could get another running back here. I just don't see it happening. I do like Ohio State center here, honestly. So I think I'm going to actually do that. Get Josh Allen some more help. And then last pick, Philadelphia Eagles are here. I think Bijan goes here. I think they get rid of Miles Sanders, and I think they go Bijan Robinson. I love Bijan Robinson. I think he's going to be good in the NFL. I hope it works out for him. And that is going to conclude my mock draft 1.0. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.